Hello, beautiful moms and entrepreneurs. My name is Sharice Walker, and I'm your host of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. This is a place where we come together to learn, grow, and inspire. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Well, hello, Unbreakable Mompreneurs. I'm Sharice Walker, your host, and I'm here today with Michaela Cox. And Michaela has an incredible story. She has had a journey that, you know, when we think our lives are hard sometimes, I think we just need to talk with other people. So Michaela, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. My name, as she said, is Michaela S. Cox. I'm an author and speaker, and I like to share my journey and the hard-earned lessons and truth that I've gotten through very interesting life story about what it takes to go from surviving to thriving. What I call my 38 triple D, not my bra size. Nothing to do with my physical appearance except maybe when I was pregnant, and that's been quite a long time because my oldest is 13 and my son's 10 now. But what it has to do with is, and I'm sure y'all are all intrigued, so I won't make you wait long. It is the journey of what involved lifelong disability. So that's the first D of legal blindness. The second D is divorce at the age of 26 in 2005. And then the third D was after I got divorced, I met the love of my life, and we had an amazing story and wrote our own notebook of love. And then we tragically, unexpectedly, suddenly lost him in 2017. So death, the third D, all by the age of 38. So triple D, 38 triple D. So anyway, there you go. I've learned a lot.
And I have to say that's a catchy title because at first I'm like,
yeah,
that's where, and then I started reading and went, okay, I get it. So kudos to you because all three of those things are tough, and I'm sorry that you've had to endure it. And so tell me what has kept you going throughout the years.
A lot of things. For me, first and foremost, and I know not everyone comes from the same background as we all do. You know, we all have different backgrounds and we all have different places in life where we're on things. But for me, one of the hugest pieces of my story has been my faith and my Christianity. I know that not be for everyone, but that's just what it's been for me. It's my faith that's been keeping me going, and my beliefs and what I believe and that whole deal. I was raised in that household, and we believe that that's what we put our faith in. And then I was raised to believe that you don't quit, you don't give up, you don't stop, you do the best you can, and you see where it goes.
Yeah.
And so telling me no pretty much guarantees a yes. I don't know how to edit this expression. I heard it from my husband who died, was in the military, and he said they had this thing about hold my beer and sit back and watch. So maybe not beer, but you know, your grape juice or whatever you drink, but your lemonade. So you pretty much tell me no, and I'm going to find a way to do it. So anyway.
And I think that that's the resiliency, especially with entrepreneurs, that you have, you know, a story to share. Like just this weekend, I was sitting in a meeting and pink eye, and next thing I know, I had a huge reaction. And next thing I know, I'm in the ER for 3 different ERs, 2 different cares, and like it's a miracle. I should show you. Like my eye was swollen shut, and now like
you're okay.
Yeah. And so I think that it's those type of things where the doctor's like, it's going to take 10 days before you look like a normal human being. And here we're 3 days into it. Right. And so I think that it's finding your belief and finding a way to your miracle, I guess. It's finding your purpose. And you've done that. So I congratulate you.
Thank you.
So you talk about finding grace a lot. Yes. And so you have a few steps that you discussed. You want to share those with us?
Yes, absolutely. And it was really, I already kind of knew them before, but obviously as we are certain ages, we grow and we develop, and the way we know things younger, but then we talk about it differently in adult terms later. I already kind of knew them. I just didn't think of it in the way of finding grace through grief like I do now. And I was having a conversation. I love the power of conversations because you can get these amazing ideas that if you hadn't been in that conversation, you would have never thought of it that way or come up with it. And so I was having a conversation with someone else about another work endeavor that I do. And she was like, girl, you need to give yourself some grace. I said, haha, yeah, I know. I'm not very good at that. But I've learned how to do it better in grief. I'm going, wait a minute. Grace, grief. Like it's such a good, wording. So I came up with finding grace through grief. And what it really involves is the 5 keys. And it works not just in grief, but it really works in life for just about anything, because if you go through, and we all will, because it's not a question of if, it's a question of when and how many and what type they are.
Right.
We're all going to go through something. We're going to have some type of adversity, trial, tribulation, struggle, whatever. And so when you think about what it takes to overcome and be victorious in those things, it's really the same thing. It may not be exactly implemented, and the things you have to do that are the same, because my adversity is not going to be someone else's and vice versa. So the ins and outs of it may look different, but the idea of what it takes to overcoming is overcoming no matter what you're trying to overcome. So yes, I phrased it for grief, but it really can apply to any adversity that someone's going through. I think that's what makes it so great, because it is so universal. The first one is grounding, and we kind of talked about this a little bit, like, because you asked me what if I had to get me through it. Well, I've had, my faith has grounded me. So find what grounds you, find your why, find your calling, whether it's a faith, a belief system, maybe it's your family, maybe it's your wonderful, amazing tribe of friends, whatever that is for you. We all still have to be grounded by something.
Yeah.
To hold us steady in those hard times. So that's the first one, the G, grounding. And then you move into the R of redesign. Like I described the 38 triple D, I've never been one to be defined by my circumstances, but to define it for myself. So daring and willing to, when you're dealt a hand or something happens by choice or not by choice, sometimes it can go either way, and you find yourself in these interesting situations, you have to be willing to make the choice, say, okay, now you may not be able to control the circumstances, but I control how I react to it. And what am I going to do with it?
Yep.
So I didn't ask to be born blind and be legally blind my whole life. I did choose to walk away from my first marriage, but I didn't choose the circumstances that made it where I had to walk away. And I certainly didn't choose to lose the love of my life for my children, who were 6 and 3 at the time, for them to lose their dad. But I do get to choose how I respond to that and what I do with it, and what do I want my life to look like after that? Is it easy? Is it simple? No. I still have hard days. I'm not claiming to have all the answers. I'm not claiming to say that it's easier, it's a cakewalk, or you just dust yourself off and go with it. But what I'm saying is, this is what I've learned of how we're able to do these things when life is hard. And the A of grace is learning to live in abundance. I don't mean finances, although it could be. I'm mainly thinking about your mindset and your perspective. Sorry, I couldn't get the word out. Point of view. And I almost think that's the bigger challenge than the choice, because oftentimes if our mindset isn't right, we can't think straight to make the correct choices. And just like circumstances in life, sometimes, I know this is a lot of information.
Great.
We can break it down in a minute when I get done with the 5 keys, but and talk about whatever you want. We have a million thoughts that flood into our brain, especially for women, right? Like, no one would really want to be inside of a woman's brain. That movie in the 90s, What Women Think, cracked me up. Like, it's kind of a scary place at times. I'm dating myself, or maybe in the early 2000s, Mel Gibson and Helen Hunt. But anyway.
So yeah, I could even tell you who's in it. So keep going.
Yeah. So all the thoughts that flood into our head, we may not be able to keep them from flooding into our head, but we can choose to accept or reject the ones that we want to be our mental space, and how we protect that mental space and what we create in our mental space. Because our mental space is one of our important assets, and our thought life and our thought process and what we tell ourselves, because that's going to create, there's a reason why in our society we say mindset's the game changer, and it unlocks all the doors, and that whatever you put your mind to, you can do, and what you don't, you can't. So it's so true. It's the ultimate superpower. So with the right mindset, we can have the choices that we need to make to stay true to what we know we're grounded in. And then the C is choosing care and clarity over chaos and confusion, which is the self-care part. Because I don't know about what men, but we're women here, so we can speak to this. We go a million miles directions a minute. And I think a lot of times, for whatever reason, we don't think we have time, or we don't feel like it's important, or we're too worried about what else we have to do. Fill in the blank. Many, many reasons why a woman or someone could choose not to do self-care. You're going to end up depleted. You're going to end up run down. You're going to be frazzled. You're not going to be the best version of yourself that allows you to do all the things that you need to do and love to do. So in order to keep the healthy mindset, you have to have the care to fill your cup back up, to stay true to the choices you know you need to make, to stay on the path that you feel grounded in. And then they all go together. They really do. And then E is for being essentially equipped. We all need tools and resources in our tool belt. So when we're equipped properly, we can overcome, we can go through this journey or season of adversity, and we can get the care we need to
Mhm.
protect our mindset, to keep the choices that we want, to stay on the path that we feel grounded in.
Yeah. I love that with Grace. I'm a huge person with acronyms. I try to acronym everything out because it's easier to understand and remember.
Yes, exactly.
So, tell me something that you wish you would have known when it comes to being a mom 10 years ago.
When I became a mom, I was later in life, because like I said, I went through divorce and then met the person I was supposed to be with, and we had a life together 3 years before kids. I was
Mm-hmm.
31 and 34 when I had both my kids. So I was a new mom, but I was a new mom later in life. So that's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like in your 20s or whatever. I did not do self-care very well because I had the brilliant idea of, hey, you have an 8-month-old, you need to go to grad school.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, you need to
Oh,
have another kid while in grad school. And oh, by the way, you're going to end up writing your thesis with a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old who's not sleeping through the night. And oh, yeah, you're married and he's in school and he's in the military. And oh, yeah, you're legally blind, which means it takes you longer to do everything. So, yay, let's do grad school with 2 kids and a husband. Okay. Not the smartest play, but hey, I live to tell. I'm still here, right? So I
I,
wish
I
I
did
had,
the same thing. I
yeah,
totally, three
yeah.
year-old twins and a 3-month-old baby went back working full time. So totally understand. Keep going.
I can't work full time when I'm in school because
Right.
in order to do school
Oh,
well
yeah.
with the disability, that is my full-time job.
Yeah.
There is literally nothing, no time for anything else when I'm in school.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so I did that crazy life journey, and I felt like all the time that if I was doing schoolwork, I needed to be with the kids or doing housework. If I was doing housework, I needed to be with the kids or doing schoolwork. If I was with the kids, it's like something was always not getting done or falling into cracks. And so I didn't do self-care. And I wish I had taken more, but I really physically didn't see how there was time. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm going to tell a little TMI and probably a little gross confession here. I literally think, and it was probably my thesis semester, I really think I went 10 to 12 days without taking a good soaking hot bath. Now, did I freshen up and like take a quick shower? Yes. But a
Mm-hmm.
good relaxing hot bath where I felt like I was really taking care of myself,
Mm-hmm.
probably not for about 2 weeks,
Yeah.
which is kind of gross. Sorry, but that's just illustrate how busy I was. So sorry if that's like too much. But anyway, so we all go through seasons and we're like finding ourselves coming and going. And how are we even still keeping our head above water type seasons? Like we're drowning in everything. And so, but grief, if you want to, not you do well, not that you can do grief well. I mean, you can, but I mean, not that it goes well. It's horrible. It's grief. But
Mm-hmm.
if you want to survive it well, I guess I should say, and not just survive it, but thrive in it, you absolutely need self care or it will land you on your butt,
It's
whether
true.
you want to or not.
Yeah.
It will land you on your butt.
Yeah.
So you better do self care in certain seasons of life or you're going to get more than you bargained for. I can tell you that for a fact. So
Well,
grief made me learn how to do self care well because unfortunately, as much as we may wish the laundry and the dishes and the dusting and the
mhm.
mile of work is could poof and go away and vanish, nah, that doesn't happen. So after a 2-hour nap, it's still gonna be waiting for you. You'll get to it, I promise, and then you'll feel better doing it. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's
No, I think that's true. And again, it's giving yourself the grace that you talked about to realize that, you can't do everything, but just do the best that you can. And that's
yep.
okay. And when it comes to running a business, especially if you're an entrepreneur, it's hard to juggle everything. I drove my kids to school today and I'm like looking at the lawn and my doctor said I can't do any yard work for a couple
Yeah.
weeks. There's so many weeds. And so it's just
Yep.
like, well, you know what? I can't do that right now. So just don't focus on it. Focus on what you can control. And those are the
Exactly.
things that we need to do.
And the
So,
grass isn't going anywhere, and I'm in a different position than a lot of people. So
right.
and because I'm on my own and solo mom and because
Mhm.
I'm a widow and disability, if I can write a check and make my life easier and take it off my plate, I'm writing that check.
Yeah.
That's the way I do it. I'm like, nope, not doing it.
And I think that those are the things that we really need to figure out is that if you can't do everything, what can make your life much easier? So
Yep.
I really appreciate you coming on today and talking about that because those are things, grief that's, and I think that sometimes we mourn, it might not be a death of a loved one, but it's a mourning, maybe the loss of the body that we used to look like, or the loss of, a friendship. And so
Definitely.
learning how to give yourself that grief and that grace are two things that is great advice for anyone. So thank you, Michaela.
The
It,
other thing for moms that I think is important, it didn't so much just come from grief. I think, especially for new moms, whether you're a new mom in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s,
Mhm,
women, we want to do the best for our families. Women, we want to do our very best and be our best versions. And I
mhm,
think one of the things, while it's important to listen to the experts when you need to, but I think some people, whether it be women, whether it be men, whether it just be anybody, we get so distracted by all the noise in our universe and our world of the different opinions. And like, I think for women, we get lost in all of those voices and we don't think to give ourselves the credit. You actually know what the crap you're doing, and
mhm.
you need to trust that your voice is right because you know your kid better than anybody. And so, first and foremost, rely on your own voice and find your own voice. Yes, listen to the experts when you need to, but know that it really is okay if you're just listening and with your own inner guidance and doing the best you can for your kid.
I love that. Oh, that's great. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they find you?
All of my books, because I write 5 different series, and I have a lot of projects coming out actually right now and over the next couple months. On Amazon under Michaela S. Cox, and then my website is meditations.com.
So thank you so much for coming on. And Unbreakable Mompreneurs, heed that advice. If you're having a hard day today, really take the time, make sure that, listen to your own intuition, grieve if you need to, and definitely give yourself grace. Have a fantastic day. Beautiful moms, remember, you are unbreakable. Keep illuminating the world with your strength, pursuing your dreams, and reveling in the splendor of motherhood. This is Sharice Walker, bidding you farewell for now. Stay tuned for more empowering conversations on the next episode of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. Until then, keep shining bright. Signing off with love, Sharice Walker.